This meeting is being recorded.
Hello, everyone. This is our presentation on the impact of 3D printing. My name is Finn Kelly Lewis, and I'm a business management major here at UNG, also on the men's soccer team.
My name is Hunt Weaver. I'm a finance major also at UNG.
My name is John Rucks. I'm also a finance major, and I'm also at UNG Dahlonega.
So the organization that we picked was Hasbro's. The reason why we picked Hasbro's is because they came out with a printing technology using their 3D printers. And what they did was very innovative and new, a new way to use their 3D printers. And what they did was they made a app where you could scan your face and send it into the company, and it would go to their 3D printers, where the 3D printers would make an exact replica of the person's face that was scanned. And with the facial scan they used, the printers would print them and they would put them onto a mini action figure, so you could have your own personalized action figure after yourself. So the technology that they use are resin printers, and what they use with the resin printers, they were able to cut down their cost due to the eco-friendly plastics that they use, and the turnaround time for the scan to be sent into Hasbro's and the printers to start working was a matter of no time. You could get a facial scan and then get your action figure sent out to you within a matter of weeks due to the printer's fast capabilities. Next.
So the major players behind this technology are both Funko Pop and Action Face. These are some of the biggest competitors to Hasbro. So Funko Pop creates these figurines that are a little bit cheaper and they're also less realistic than Hasbro. They sell these for $30 prior to shipping and fees, and the company gives Hasbro a cheaper alternative with a slightly more lifelike design. So Funko Pop's action figures, like I said, come in about $20 cheaper than Hasbro's, but they have some drawbacks that come with that. The other company is Action Face, and they offer a similar price point at $50, but they have a lot bigger of a focus on customization. Although this comes at, it seems like, the expense of product quality. So Action Face gives customers an option that is a little bit less realistic, but has a variety of customization. If you go on Action Face's website, you can see that you can do a variety of different sports teams, as well as poses and different figurines, where Hasbro has a much smaller selection of action figures that you can choose for your face to be on. Next. So the value created by adopting this new technology, the biggest thing that this new 3D printing technology, the value that it creates is the ability to personalize the action figures. So like I said in the previous slide, the 3D printing that is done, you can actually have, like I said, your actual face on the action figure, which is something in the past you could have the option to essentially design your face and pick out your nose and your mouth and your eyes, but you didn't have the option to physically have your face, like an exact replica, scanned onto an action figure.
So what are some of the current positive and negative impacts of this technology? So specifically for Hasbro, one of the major pros was the mass customization. They saw the success of the Build-A-Bear workshop, and it really inspired them to create their own kind of version of this 3D printing for their own sort of customizability and individuality. Customers now, they can create their own toys and figures that are tailored to their own preferences, and this provides a more engaging and interactive experience for the customers. They also were able to now prototype new ideas, as 3D printing was able to serve as like a form of offering minimal viable products through its ability to prototype. They were able to produce many different prototypes at one go, which gave them even more feedback and improved their customer development stage as well. They also were able to reduce the time and costs, as traditional methods of prototyping can be rather time consuming and expensive. But 3D printing enabled Hasbro to reduce their costs that would associate with production and labor, etc. However, there are some cons to note, current cons of the impact, and that would be mainly around the environmental concerns. So despite reducing waste material um, versus the traditional manufacturing methods, it's not necessarily environmentally friendly. The production and disposable of 3D printing materials, like the different plastics and resins, they can still contribute to environmental pollution and resource depletion if it's not managed responsibly. So for the future, Hasbro must consider this. Also, the quality of the product. There's lots of inconsistencies in printing due to the current available material and limitations. And some parts have gone under scrutiny for being too fragile, not durable enough. So the early stages of this 3D printing for Hasbro was a little bit tricky. Also, the production speed and the scale. It might be advantageous for rapid prototyping and small scale productions, but as they scale up, this could become tricky. And then in terms of positive and negative impacts for the future, things that Hasbro need to be conscious about in the future would be, a major pro would be the continuous innovation. So by leveraging 3D printing technology, they can push the boundaries really of toy design innovation and really become market leaders. The kind of the competitors and the players that we talked about earlier, they can definitely overtake them with this new level of technology. And if they implement it correctly, they could also build customer relationships, as we mentioned earlier, in terms of increasing that customizability. That's quite a unique thing. They're able to interact with their customers, build strong relationships, and ultimately increase their brand loyalty, repeat purchase, increase their market share, just overall making them more profitable. And they also have on-demand production. So this means manufacturing products only when needed in quantities required. So with the advancements of 3D printing, Hasbro might be able to shift towards on-demand production models. Um, of course, there's some cons as well to be aware of. Job displacement. The growth of 3D printing technology doesn't necessarily benefit those who worked in traditional manufacturing roles, because you've kind of removed that need for that kind of labor, as you've automation enables 3D printing. And there's also then intellectual property infringement need to be aware of. So the accessibility of 3D printing technology, it could exacerbate these concerns for Hasbro and other toy manufacturers, as there might be unauthorized reproduction of toy designs through 3D printing, fake or counterfeit products entering the market, which could undermine Hasbro and their integrity, etc.
So in conclusion, the advancement of this technology has led to a variety of opportunities in the sphere of 3D printing as well as toy manufacturing. These advancements have many benefits, such as personalized products, quicker manufacturing times, and cheaper production costs. So as was mentioned with a lot of the pros, a lot of these things that were mentioned, with the personalization and manufacturing and cheaper production could be huge for Hasbro moving forward, as they can take these pros and these advantages that come with this model of 3D printing to further market share. On the other hand, though, the cons has the potential to displace jobs, create environmental concerns, and often have inferior product quality in comparison to the traditional printing method. So in conclusion, the advancement of 3D printing is like any innovation. It's full of pros and cons. Continuous efforts to further improve the technology is vital, and we will likely soon see a world with nearly all 3D printed figurines, I predict.
And this is just our work site list of some of the main websites we got a lot of information from. But thank you guys for listening. That concludes our presentation.